Hello, my name is Jocelyn Duvan, and I will be talking about reconciliation ecology, which is a solution to environmental problems. But first, let's talk about those such problems. The lack of biodiversity is causing more animals to go endangered or extinct. Conservation efforts, although might help, in the long run will not be enough to save these species. Biodiversity is highly influenced by the area of habitat available to life. It is estimated that 85 to 98% of the world's terrestrial habitats have been taken over by humans. Small patches of land around the world is free of human interaction and influence, and that's where we force the species um, that used to cover the world and we force them into those small places. And there's a limit to what traditional conservation can do. This just sets aside small pieces of land for a variety of animals and ecosystems. We just stuff them into one place and we expect them to be fine and to thrive, even though it's nothing compared to what they used to have. Okay, an introduction to reconciliation ecology. Reconciliation ecology is a new field of study which challenges the separation of humans and nature by encouraging biodiversity in human dominated ecosystems. Reconciliation ecology is to invest, design, establish, and maintain new habitats for species in places where people live and work. It takes place as used by humans and it makes it more hospitable to species. It reintroduces natural elements into our society and encourages our coexistence with them. It, it's it's sep- that separation that's always existed between man and nature. Well, not always, but we created. It tries to get rid of that. Reconciliation is it challenges the separation that people create between humans and nature. There has been a wedge created that makes us forget the importance of nature, and it lets us put our wants and our greed over the importance of nature. And people have made it seem like it has to be one way or the other, either completely wilderness and nature or complete human habitat and destruction of nature. But reconciliation ecology challenges that belief and instead shows how there can be an overlap. A coexistence is attainable, it's just that we have to actually try. How it solves the problem of the lack of biodiversity and it stops the extinction is by just increasing the biodiversity helps overall. The more land there is, the more different species can live on the land. The more habitat is available, it increases the rate of new species evolving, which in turn decreases the extinction rate of species. The more land, the more land, then the larger population, which increases the possibility of a subpopulation being created, separating and becoming isolated by environments, which causes them to evolve in different ways, sometimes becoming a new species. This creates genetic diversity, making it more likely for individuals to survive changing environments. If there's a catastrophe, and but the species is very diverse, they're more likely to be able to adapt in the long run and survive that, so they won't go extinct. But if they're not biologically diverse, then they will die off because there's no way they can adapt to these by natural selection in these changes. It gives them a better chance of being able to adapt as a species. By creating new species, it also shows species diversity, which helps so that if something were to happen to one species, there would be another species to take over its niche so that the environment and other organisms won't be affected. Biodiversity just overall helps in a way to keep animals from going extinct, and when they do go extinct, it doesn't affect the overall environment too much. But hopefully, the idea is for no animals to go extinct. And although this might seem like a hard thing to do, or maybe you don't really think of it as something you can do, it doesn't take a lot to help help our environment. This is why I chose this topic, is because sometimes we think too much of the policies and the laws that have to change, but we don't think too much about the small things we can do, like just growing native plants and trees in our own yards. That helps a lot, and it benefits even us and overall the environment. It The diversity of species reduces the likelihood of disease and pest outbreak. They're adaptable to the weather conditions since they're native plants and are climate appropriate. They have deeper root systems which offer greater soil stability, higher evaporation, and better infiltration, which makes it so that the pollutants are filtered out better and more water is replenished into aquifers. It's less maintenance needed. Once stable, they don't need fertilizer, pesticides, a herbicide, or watering. So this is all information you can find in the Lake County website. Even they try encouraging this. And there's other ways. There's urban farming. There's which is more popularly talked about, is farming in cities, in places, little green spaces you can use to grow native plants and to grow plants in general to help. In conclusion, are many solutions to problems that we have caused the environment, and many of them have to do with matters that we might feel are out of our hands. Laws and policies must be put in place to make changes, but there are also small things we can do to create change. This requires us to learn and share our land and to coexist with other species. We must meet halfway, meet our needs while also allowing other organisms to benefit from the land.